Hi friends, it's Amy here. In this lesson, your students are going to be working on decomposing to add. Okay, so we are still on the same standard if you're in Florida watching along with me. Math, grade 3, number sense and operation, standard 2, add and subtract multi-digit whole numbers, build an understanding of multiplication and division operations. The benchmark 2.1, add and subtract multi-digit whole numbers, including using a standard algorithm with procedural fluency, which we are going to get to. So we're going to start with decomposing to add. Your students have had a lot of practice with this back in second grade and in first grade, lots of practice with decomposing. So we're reviewing that. We are building to the standard algorithm, but again, we want students to have this number sense, to be able to mentally decompose and add numbers without having to use the standard algorithm. So we're reviewing that, but we are going to get to the standard algorithm. It's coming up in just a couple of lessons here. All right, so in this one, there are 425 students at the carnival. When it starts, 227 students come later. So how can you find the number of students at the carnival? So they're adding 425 plus 227. So you can decompose. Great opportunity to review that definition with your students, or break apart one add-in to make it easier to add. So first of all, we can decompose it by place value. So we could say, well, I could take 425 plus 200, and that would give us 625. So I'm at 625, and then we would add the 20. So that gets us to 645, and then we would add the 7. 645 plus 7 gets us to 652. All right, that's one way. Now we can decompose one add-in a different way. So maybe they look at it and go, well, I know that 425 plus 25 would be easy to work with because that would give me 450. All right, so I'm decomposing 227. So I started with 25. And then I might say, okay, well, I need 2 more to get to 27. So we would add 2 more, taking 450, adding 2 more, we get to 452. And then how many do we have left? Still have 200 left. So 452 plus 200 is going to equal 652. Now, I definitely think having those base 10 blocks available to students is going to be very helpful if some of the students are struggling with decomposing the numbers. So because they'll have some problems here, like this one, where they'll decompose this number in 2 different ways. Obviously, most of them will probably go to 300 plus 40 plus 7, but we say 2 different ways. That's where the base 10 blocks will come in so handy. Gives you an opportunity to review back in Unit 1 what we did with the decomposition of numbers. So maybe they can pull those blocks together and say, well, I can swap out for one of the 10s and make it 300 plus 30 plus 17. Or maybe 5 is an easy number to add. So we want to decompose it into 300 plus 40 plus 5 plus 2, which they're going to have a problem, something like this one too, where Belle is adding this number 125 by decomposing 688 plus 125 into 4 parts. How might she decompose 125? So again, if we have 688 written out and we've got the base 10 blocks, and we have 125, I might say, well, what if I start with 2? Well, then I've got 100 and a 20 and 3 more. So then we would maybe add the 20, and then we would maybe add the 3, and then we would add the 100. I think like having that visual connection for your students, especially with your students that have some learning disabilities around math, that visual representation to help them with this decomposition is going to make so much of a difference. So I hope that you all enjoyed this lesson. Come back to the next one. We're going to get into partial sums, and then we'll move into the algorithm. Thanks for joining. We'll see you in another lesson.